Welcome to your learning modules on the municipal census. This training session will be based on the mandatory requirements for census taking. All these requirements must be met to ensure your census results are recognized by the Minister of Municipal Affairs and included in the annual Municipal Affairs population list. This slide shows the purpose of this training session. First, we'll go over the key dates for municipal census. This will involve going through the entire census timeframe and outline the key responsibilities of municipalities and the ministry. Second, we'll go over the mandatory requirements for census taking that are contained in legislation. To assist municipalities, we'll go over some guidelines that will assist you in conducting a municipal census. Here are some key dates for municipalities that choose to conduct a census. The blue-colored items are responsibilities that are undertaken by municipal affairs, while the green are those that are key responsibilities for municipalities. First, municipalities that conduct a census or municipal census with shadow population count would be required to notify us by February 28th so that we can ensure proper supports are in place. For municipalities, census enumeration is expected to take place between March 1 and July 31st. Census results should be submitted to Municipal Affairs by September 1, 2024. Municipal Affairs will undertake an audit of all census results from September 2 to the 30th. We may contact you for additional information on how the census was undertaken. Final approval of the municipal census and shadow population counts will be completed by December or January of the following year through the publication of the Municipal Affairs population list. We do plan to undertake a formal review of the municipal census project in 2024 and will contact you regarding your feedback. Before we get too far in the presentation, I wanted to make sure you are aware of where you can get the most up-to-date information on the census, as well as download the documents you will need for your census project. We suggest you go through the website on a regular basis, as updates are posted as they become available. All relevant information you will need to conduct a census are located on our website shown in the screen. First, you will find information on our municipal census training sessions. A copy of our last presentation that was held in February 2024 is contained in the website. We have also included the mandatory requirements for census taking, which is contained in legislation. This includes the Municipal Government Act, the Municipal Census Regulation, and Municipal Census Manual, which is an attachment to the regulation. Please note that all municipalities must adhere to the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. A summary document on how to conduct a municipal census according to FOIP is also included on the website. We have also included fillable mandatory forms in PDF format for you to use. Please note you must open the forms on Adobe Acrobat and not in the browser for the forms to work properly. There is also previous and current data from the Municipal Affairs population list on the website. And finally, we have included our contact information in case you have questions or require further clarification on the municipal census. To begin your census, you should know the mandatory requirements for census taken. This is contained in legislation. They are the Municipal Government Act, the Municipal Census Regulation, and the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. Before reviewing the legislation content, I want to point out that the Municipal Census Regulation and Municipal Census Manual underwent significant changes based on feedback we received from our municipal stakeholders. The Municipal Census Manual was the result of a joint partnership between Statistics Canada and Municipal Affairs. The goal was not to duplicate the methodology used by Statistics Canada. We used feedback by municipalities to develop the requirements that it would ensure that the municipal census numbers would be comparable to federal census counts. The Municipal Census Regulation and Municipal Census Manual also applies to Métis settlements if they want their population counts included in the Municipal Affairs population list. Under the Métis Settlements Act, the Métis Settlements General Council has the authority to conduct a census within settlement boundaries. Métis settlements do not fall within the definition of a municipal authority according to the MGA, and they reserve the right to conduct their own census. Métis settlements conduct their census in accordance with Section 85 of the Métis Settlements Act, which allows for the inclusion of settlement members on leave of absence. However, the usual resident counts submitted to Municipal Affairs from Métis settlements would need to follow the definition for usual residency. The Ministry has included members on leave of absence with the population counts, provided they were on leave of absence approved by the Settlement Council for no more than 5 years before the census, and that the member has executed a written intent to return to the settlement. These conditions will allow members who are away for school or internship opportunities to be considered usual residents of the settlement. Métis settlements must complete the Métis settlements members on leave verification form. This form must be properly signed and sworn before a commissioner of oaths. A copy of the form can be found on our website as well as Appendix F in the Municipal Census Manual. So let's begin with the Municipal Government Act. Legislative provisions do not restrict how or when a municipality can survey residents for feedback or input on any programs or services, but it does regulate how and when a population count can take place for the purposes of submitting results to Municipal Affairs. The authority to undertake a municipal census is specified in the Municipal Government Act. The MGA goes a step further and gives the Minister of Municipal Affairs the authority to make regulations that impact who is counted and how a municipal census can be carried out. Section 604 is why we have the municipal census regulation that must be followed if municipal authorities want the population results to be submitted to Municipal Affairs. Municipal Affairs uses the results when preparing an annual population list, that is, an information document as well as a document used by different ministries for the purposes of calculating municipal per capita grants. The Municipal Census Regulation is probably the most significant document to be incorporated properly into your municipal census, so a municipality does not run into conflicts at the end of the project. Copies of this regulation are available through the King's Printer or from the Municipal Affairs website. This is a very important document to have before you begin your census project, because it includes the mandatory requirements for conducting your census. So let's review some of the key definitions that are in the regulation. The regulation clearly stipulates what a municipal census is, a count of individuals whose usual resident is in the municipality. It also clarifies what a usual residence is, which simply put is a location where a person lives and sleeps most of the time. Each person can only have one usual resident. So if a person has several residences, the main residence is the one where they spend the major part of the year. Children in joint custody should be counted in the home of the parent where they live most of the time. If a person does not have any residences on census day, the dwelling where they spent the night on census day is their main residence. Husband and wives are common law partners who do not live with their families while working, but return to their families periodically, should consider the residence they share with their spouse as their usual residences. Sons or daughters who do not live with their parents while attending school or working at a summer job, but return to live with their parents during the year, should be counted at their parents' residence, even if they spend most of the year somewhere else. The definition of shadow population is also included in the regulation. Shadow population is defined as temporary residents of a municipality who are employed by an industrial or commercial establishment in the municipality and has worked a minimum of 120 hours for that employer in the 3-month period prior to census day. The Municipal Census Regulation specifies some of the mandatory requirements for conducting a municipal census. The rest are in the Municipal Census Manual. The census regulation indicates that the municipality must notify the Minister's Department by February 28th of the census year that the municipality will be conducting a municipal census and whether the municipality will include a shadow population count. The regulation further stipulates that all municipalities that choose to conduct a municipal census must follow the Municipal Census Manual, which contains the approved methodologies on how the municipal census should be conducted. Municipalities are also required to pick a census date, which is a snapshot of the population count at one particular point in time, and must fall within the census timeframe, which is a 3-month consecutive timeframe between March 1 and July 31st. The census day is either the first day of enumeration or a date prior to the start of the enumeration period. All census workers, census coordinators, and census enumerators are required to sign oaths or statements indicating that they will ensure that personal information collected from the census will remain confidential, and they will undertake the census according to the Municipal Census Manual. The census results must be reported to Municipal Affairs, including an affidavit and field report, by September 1 of the census year. All items in the regulation must be followed unless you have asked for any deviations and received approval by the Minister of Municipal Affairs before you begin your census. Once you submit census results to Municipal Affairs, staff will review it, and as specified in the regulation, the municipality must respond to and submit any information reports or explanations to the ministry with regards to the municipal census. Just a few highlights about shadow population counting that are directly from the regulation. A municipality must notify the minister by February 28th that it will include a shadow population count with its municipal census. To qualify, the shadow population count has to be greater than 1,000, or if less than that amount, it must be greater than 10% of the permanent resident population. You must submit the shadow population count by September 1 using the municipal census form. If accepted by the minister, the shadow population count will remain as part of the municipality's population until the next federal census results are released. Although FOIP does not specifically reference census projects, municipalities must be very aware of the sensitivity of census information and the requirement to ensure information is protected even if the census project is contracted to an external party. Page 9 of the Municipal Census Manual has a brief overview of the implications of FOIP for a census project, plus the very last page of the manual has a FOIP information sheet that all census coordinators and enumerators should be aware of. Again, this also includes contractors you may be using on your project. Municipalities are allowed to collect personal information if it is directly related to and is necessary for a program or activity of the municipality. With this in mind, make sure the questions you ask on your census survey are appropriate and relevant. Personal information should only be collected from the household, not neighbors, and personal information must be kept confidential and used only for the purposes it was collected. To prevent a breach of privacy, enumerators must take all necessary security measures to prevent unauthorized access, disclosure, or destruction of forms in their possession. Again, the best practice is for enumerators to deliver completed forms to the municipality on a frequent and regular basis. Once the census project is completed, forms are retained and destroyed in accordance with your approved records retention policies and practices. Always keep in mind that the FOIP office is a great resource, and never be shy to contact your municipal FOIP coordinator for any clarification, or you can visit the FOIP website using the link shown on the slide. There are some important definitions in the manual that you must understand in order to properly complete the municipal census form. As part of the submission to Municipal Affairs, Municipalities are required to submit the number of private dwellings, the number of non-contact dwellings, and refusals. A private dwelling is defined as a self-contained unit used by one or more households as their main living quarters. This would include a house, apartment, mobile home, houseboat, or any other substantive structure. Please note that the dwelling must be fit for human habitation, so a home in construction with no lights or heat would not be classified as a private dwelling. A non-contacted dwelling is when a census worker was not able to make contact with anyone in the household, but believes that the dwelling is occupied by usual residents. There are several reasons for not making contact with anyone in a household. The most obvious reason is that they are out at the time of the visit. In this case, enumerators would need to make contact at a different time or place. However, sometimes householders may be away for an extended period of time, or someone is in the home but refuses to come to the door. In these situations, you would count these as non-contacted dwellings. Municipalities are also required to include the number of refusals when they submit their results on the municipal census form. A refusal is when a household refuses to take part in the census survey. If a member of the household refuses to take part, but you are successful in getting someone else in that household to participate, this is not classified as a refusal. It is critical you fully understand these definitions, as this information must be included in your field report, or the results from your municipal census may be rejected. Here are examples of private dwellings. For those of you who request estimates for non-contacted dwellings and refusals, you will need to track the usual resident count, the number of completed surveys, and the number of non-contact dwellings and refusals for each of these dwelling types. Please review the worksheet on page 86 of the Municipal Census Manual or the fillable form on the website before you undertake your census. Other mandatory requirements are contained in the Municipal Census Manual. When conducting a census, municipalities are free to choose prescribed census-taking methodologies. For usual residents, this includes the use of the online census, telephone interviews, mail-out surveys, enumerated visits at the door, or a hybrid, which is a combination of any of the methods I just described. For more clarification on this methodology, please refer to the Municipal Census Manual. We are proud to introduce two methodologies in the Census Manual for counting shadow population and homeless people. Again, please refer to the Census Manual for clarification in terms of how these counts should be undertaken. The census also must undertake quality assurance activities. Census coordinators, which are the person who is in charge of the overall census, must take steps to ensure the data is accurate. For more details on quality assurance, please refer to page 33 of the Municipal Census Manual. Quality assurance in this case refers to randomly contacting dwellings that were enumerated by enumerator visit or by telephone call. The quality assurance calls verify that the dwelling has been visited by the enumerator and provides a check on the usual resident question. We have now included an example of a quality assurance check script on page 75 of the manual. All mandatory forms, such as the oath of a census coordinator, statement of a census enumerator, and the municipal census form, are contained in the appendix of the manual. These forms are also available on our website. It is important to note that Municipal Affairs will not recognize any municipal census undertaken in a federal census year. When Statistics Canada releases population and dwelling counts from the census, municipalities can question the validity of the counts. Statistics Canada will respond to each request received and conduct a formal review. This process has been in place for every federal census. Here is a quick summary of the process used in the 2021 federal census. Municipalities can submit their concerns on their population counts to Statistics Canada by December 31st. They should fully provide a reason for their concern and include all supporting documentation. For example, you may find that all dwellings in your municipality was not covered and can choose to submit a dwellings report to Stats Canada to strengthen your case. Statistics Canada will conduct a review of all submissions. However, they will not in cases where no errors are found in the population or dwelling counts. Statistics Canada will confirm the published census counts with a written explanation. If errors are found, Statistics Canada will notify you with the revised count for population and dwellings only and publish it on their website. However, they will not correct the 2021 data on your community profile or re-enumerate a community. Complete information on Statistics Canada policy is located on their website shown on the screen. There are a lot of other information within the Census Manual. These should be seen as guidelines and are included as help tips, information, or tools. Municipalities are free to ask additional questions to obtain a profile of their residents. We have suggested wording of questions for sex, gender, and age on page 40 and 41 of the Municipal Census Manual. The wording of these questions are directly from the 2021 Federal Census of Canada. If you choose to use the wording in these questions, it would be comparable to the federal census results. Municipalities are also free to design their own census material, which can include maps, callback cards, enumerator photo identification, census forms, and other supporting documents or tools. Please refer to the appendices of the manual for examples. Municipalities are also free to report the results of the census to the public. If you go to page 35 of the manual, you will see suggested guidelines on how you can report your census results to the community. As suggested in the manual, census coordinators would need to take into consideration the size of the population and its neighborhoods. Municipalities are also free to have the census coordinators manage the census as they see fit. This involves things like delegating responsibilities, supervising enumerators, etc., as long as they comply with the mandatory requirements. Please refer to page 22 entitled Census Coordinators' General Responsibilities, which highlights the mandatory and suggested guidelines that will assist census coordinators in conducting a municipal census. This completes our census training on the mandatory requirements for census taking. Here is our contact information if you need additional support on the census. I hope you enjoyed the presentation.